Just give it a minute for folks to come in from the waiting room. As a reminder, if you are not testifying before the board, please mute yourself. Please ensure that your audio and video are both functioning. Good afternoon. This is an administrative hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing. We are joined today by Executive Director Kathleen Joyce, Chief of Operations Rebecca Fu, Lieutenant Detective Troy, Detective Hernandez, and Sergeant Detective Gallagher. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments of the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing will be recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. I will read the agenda items into the record, after which I will ask who's present on behalf of the licensee and who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department. I will then ask who is present with any individual who is present who has personal knowledge of the alleged incident on the specific dates. Any individuals who wish to testify, I will then swear in. The police report will be read into the record, followed by an opportunity for the licensee to address the alleged violation and questions from the executive director. Calling Lolita Cocina and Tequila Bar, located at 253 Summer Street. This is disciplinary hearing number 022866. The incident was June 26th. Music on the outdoor patio at 85 decibels at 11:41 p.m. And disciplinary item number 023969. The date of the incident was July 22nd. Loud music emanating beyond the premise on the patio at 82 decibels at 11:40 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Kristen Scanlon representing the licensee.
Chris Jameson and Mark Malatesta here.
And who will be testifying on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sorry, this is Jeff Fullerton. I'm also with the licensee.
Okay, great, thank you. And who will be testifying on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective Gallagher.
Thank you. Are there any individuals with personal knowledge of the alleged incidents who wish to testify?
Detective Hernandez if needed.
And we have Bianca Malatesta here as well with us. She's the general manager of Lolita.
Okay, great, thank you. Could all individuals please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You do.
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed with the police report.
Yes. Good afternoon. Sergeant Detective Gallagher will be reading from the police report that I wrote on 6/26/2021 at 11:55 p.m. Sergeant Detective Gallagher and Detective Hernandez assigned a licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Lolita in the Seaport. This inspection came about because of complaints received in the mayor's hotline that the premise was playing loud music, disturbing the abutting neighbors. Detectives parked their unmarked cruiser on Necco Street at the Boston Harbor Walk and could easily hear music coming from Lolita's outdoor patio. Detectives proceeded to the Harbor Walk and utilized a sound meter which recorded 85 decibels. Detectives sought out the manager, Jenna Carlson, and informed her that the music was too loud and the neighbors were complaining. Ms. Carlson immediately had the music turned down. City of Boston ordinance below 50 decibels after 11 p.m. In addition, detectives helped download the same sound meter they use onto Ms. Carlson's iPhone so she could better monitor the volume. As a result, the detectives had observed Sergeant Gallagher issued license premise inspection number 022866 to Lolita for music on outdoor patio at 85 decibels at 11:41 p.m. Ms. Carlson signed for and accepted the notice. Those are facts.
Thank you. Attorney Scanlon, or the licensee, would you like to address the alleged violation?
Sure. I'll take that. So we, as the board knows, we have a valid entertainment license in place for the patio outside. A number of years ago, when we opened the patio, we went through an extensive neighborhood process for that entertainment license, for the live entertainment license, and we currently hold a valid permit. Our interpretation of both the Boston City Noise Ordinance and the rules and regulations of the mayor's office are that by virtue of having the permit for that outside entertainment, that we are exempt from the Boston City Noise Ordinance as it's written and as it's currently posted online. It says that we have to operate from within the context of the permit and by the rules and regulations of the permit. So then looking at the way that the rules and regs for that entertainment license is written, it simply says that we can't operate at a volume that is clearly audible at 100 yards. So I would note that when the readings were taken by the Detective Gallagher, they were taken within 5 or 7 feet of the speakers on the patio. We would put forward that that's not the standard that should be used. That the standard that should be used should be, is what we're doing audible from 100 yards away. To the extent that it is, or it was, then we would and should turn it down. But I don't think that's what we're talking about here with either of these violations. I would also just like to note that, as a part of the process of going through and securing the entertainment license, we made it very clear that this is nowhere near any residences. The people that live in the condos closest to the patio have never complained. I understand that there are complaints coming from people that live in the 4 Point neighborhood, ostensibly from their time coming down the Harbor Walk. But to my knowledge, we haven't disturbed any residences, and we aren't creating noise that any residents can hear from their apartment or condos. So I just as a point of clarification, I think it's important that we are good neighbors to the people that live there. I'm not sure exactly how these complaints are coming in or from who, but we don't believe that it's from anybody that lives directly within earshot of what we're doing on the patio. So that's why we've been operating the way we've been operating it. That's our interpretation of the conditions of this license. Here to discuss any other opinions or positions and try and just get this put to bed once and for all.
Kathleen, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I didn't know if Attorney Scanlon was here to respond to this or.
Sure, I just wanted to add to that too. We do have Jeff Fullerton here, who's a sound and noise expert from Intertech, who has been with the licensee for a number of years, including when they started out at this location and in participating in several sound and noise studies. So he can certainly comment on any of the instrument readings and measurements that are taken from what sounds like it's apps on iPhones or cell phones that the police are using. And I would just note that, we really need to consider what's reasonable in light of the circumstances. As Chris indicated, this particular license, which was granted by the city, was for exterior use on a patio along a private way that has public access. They certainly aren't playing music or have their speakers or equipment within the public way, which is what seems to be the spirit and intent of the Boston Noise Ordinance when you read it by the letter of the law. Again, I would just submit, what is reasonable noise given the type of entertainment license that they do have. When it was granted, again, it was granted for an outdoor patio, live music. And so it's a little unreasonable to argue that you shouldn't hear it from a private way that has public access, which is located merely, 5 to 10 feet away from the boundaries of the licensed premises.
So are you saying, or is your client saying that you should not have to adhere to the Boston Noise Ordinance?
Not at all. And they believe they're within the, or operating within the boundaries of the ordinance. I think it's just a matter of interpretation of how the ordinance applies in light of the type of license they have that allows them to play audible music from an outdoor patio.
Okay. Well, we've never heard this argument that any entertainment license issued by this board should be looked at as in this way, but we will take that into consideration. So you have a temporary outdoor patio as well, correct?
That's correct.
And you don't have any entertainment on that space, right?
We do not. No, the speakers for that space are shut down, shut off. There's no entertainment on that space. Obviously, the music from the regular patio is audible on that patio because they're abutting directly, but there are no extra speakers or anything else out there projecting any music from this entertainment license.
Okay. Sergeant or detective, when you took these readings, where did you take them from?
We parked on Necco Street, which abuts their temporary patio. Our first measurement was from the car on Necco Street. Then we walked out and we utilized the sound meter with the manager on the Harbor Walk. And that was probably, I don't know, 10 feet back from the premise. But the first reading was at the car, which was parked on Necco Street at the end of the street.
And about how far away was your car parked?
Car was, substantially farther. I don't say it was 100 feet, but it was probably, 40 to 50 feet.
Okay.
Could I ask a question and what that reading was, just out of my own curiosity, because I wasn't aware that a reading.
That was the reading I took. The reading was the same there as it was in front. It
And
really didn't go up.
Did you take another reading when she turned the volume down dramatically?
Yes, yeah, and she was within compliance.
Okay, so the reading was below 50 when she turned the music down?
I don't want to say it was below 50, but it was tall, but it wasn't 84 or 85.
Okay.
I think it was low to mid 50s. And I said, we're not going to get calls on this, but clearly we're getting calls on 85.
Okay, because according to her, and when we spoke with her about it, she said that reading was still above 70. It was 75 or 76 with the music virtually.
I don't think so. We were there for a while with her. We got the app on the phone, and she could test different sound levels. But at the end of our inspection, it was down below, closer to the 50.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if we could just have Jeff Fullerton comment briefly on the instruments being used and where the measurements are taking from, because I think it's an important distinction to be made regarding what sound is being picked up by the instruments as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and this also goes back to the regulation itself, which in the definitions section does require that the meters be a specification that is a sound level meter in accordance with a standard that happens to be ANSI S 1.4. And that's something that, as an acoustical consultant, we actually have to go out and buy these meters to do those types of measurements, because that's not a phone app, and the phone app doesn't have that compliance. The definition also goes further to say they're to be properly calibrated. I've not found a phone that you can calibrate with a standard calibrator. So I guess there are some technical concerns about the approach that's being used to assess the sound levels. With regard to the location, I guess I wasn't there, so it's difficult for me to understand how the sound level near the patio would be the same as on Necco Way, but that's certainly something we can document and sort of bring to the table.
Okay. This is something we are looking at throughout the city. We've had more and more noise complaints everywhere throughout the city than we have had in the over 2.5 years I've been in this position. I wanted to ask Mr. Jameson, do you have a dedicated phone line that people can call if they have complaints about noise?
We do. It's publicly listed on the website. It rings directly to the host stand. So it'll basically put you into a queue, and it says, click 1 for reservations or 2 to be connected to the host stand. So to the extent that somebody does have that complaint, there's a readily available number that they can call. And I think, Detective Gallagher and Hernandez have been there a couple of times, and our managers are always very willing to comply and turn things down. So, I would sort of just say that they'll continue to do that as these come in. But I do hope that we can sort of have an open discussion about what is reasonable given the nature of the license out there, because to say that it will not be audible as you're walking by on the Harbor Walk is probably not a reasonable standard. But we're certainly trying to be good neighbors there, and we'll keep this down if anybody can hear it from a place that they shouldn't be hearing it from.
Okay. I know other municipalities are also taking a look at this, and some of them have been so strict that there's been no outdoor entertainment at some of these patios this summer because they directly tie the entertainment violation to the liquor license. Mm-hmm. So it's not unique to Boston. The complaints that are happening in this neighborhood are not unique to the city of Boston. They're happening everywhere, but getting perhaps a more sophisticated sound meter might be something this board has to look into. I don't have any other questions about this particular violation. So I guess we will take this under consideration.
We will
Thank
take,
you very much.
Thanks, Leslie.
we will take this under advisement and a written decision will be issued.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.